Well, hello there, morons. It's Victor, King of the Morons, here with a new setting, and I actually just broke the camera lens making this. I have a beautiful little 35mm. Well, I don't know what kind of lens it is. Anyway, it's broken. So Happy New Year! I broke a lens. Great. Wow, is that bad luck? It's like $100 lens. That's the second time I've broken it actually. This time just I got this microphone hooked up with a wire, and I pulled it, and the tripod fell. So this is my background here. I don't know if you can tell. We got a pig here. There's a pig. There's a Woody over here. Can't really see him, but well, I guess I could pull him over here. There's Woody, right? Here's who cares? It's a bunch of crap. Room. But actually, this room is much cleaner than it was. Here's a hat I got for $4. This room is much cleaner than it was a couple weeks ago. A couple days ago, actually. I've been cleaning. But it's New Year's Eve, and it's 1:43 a.m. And I just came back from my local, let's say we went to a shrine, 2 shrines and a temple. Yes. I went to 3. My wife went to 2. She met me a little later. And at that shrine, they gave us some amazake. Of course, my wife can't drink because she's pregnant. And and every time I say that, someone like realizes that for the first time. Oh, by the way, this is a laundry video, which means don't bother watching. So why did I even bother setting this up? Just I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. So I got this sofa I never used, back here. I make it part of the set and make it more interesting. So, we went to 3 places, and what was I going to say about that? Yeah, she's pregnant. So every time I mention my wife is pregnant to anybody on the internet, there's always someone who's surprised. Like I got a cousin in Canada. By the way, another reason I like to make fun of Canadians is because I have a cousin in Canada. I have cousins who are Canadian. So, when I make fun of Canadians, I'm just joking. But, inadvertently, I get someone who thinks I'm serious. Who could make fun of Canadians? Anyway. This is amazing. I gotta tell you about this guy. So, at the 3rd place, they gave us a jar, what is this, a little, a Japanese, this is typically the way they sell sake here. And this is called amazake, and the kanji are sweet and liquor. Those are the kanji. And they gave us 2 because Yoko was with me. Of course, she can't drink, so I got them both. And then we came home and we boiled it, simmered it so it was warm. And we put it in this metal container, which is actually called a thermos in Japanese. I don't know if you can see that from over there. It's a thermos. And it keeps cold things cold and hot things hot. And it really works really, really well. So the sake in here is still hot. I put it in here like, I guess 10 minutes ago. Oh God. It's like really fucking hot. Oh my God. Man, my throat is like damaged now. Wow. Can you see my tears? Yeah. So this is really good. I mean, this material, I don't know how they make it, but it's amazing. They actually explain it on the side. Like if you're gonna read all the scientific properties of this. How does it work? But anyway, so Happy New Year. So I just wanted to come on here and say Happy New Year to you guys. Say cheers. And if anyone wants to say cheers back, make a video response, that would be really cool. Even if you don't put it up, you can just send it to me. I like to see what your faces look like. I want to see your faces. I don't watch Sexy Phil very much. Very rarely, but I do. I think he says like, I like your face. Which is strange, but it's really catchy, like it sticks in my head. So YouTube, well, I had a great year, on YouTube. I had a great year, and my dog died, so it was I think because she died, it became a great year. Do you know what I mean? I mean, she helped open some doors. So, for example, my wife's pregnant. So. Oh yeah, the other thing that people are shocked at, like when I mentioned that Maggie died, there'll always be a couple people in the videos like, what? When did that happen? Back in March. Today, a guy was walking his dog in front of our building, Excuse me for slurping, but this is so hot. He was walking his dog in front of my building, in front of my house, my building. I live in a building. And he said, "Oh, how's Maggie?" And I don't remember this guy at all. And it's funny, like a lot of people remember my dog and say, "Oh, how's Maggie?" I have no memory of this guy at all. Maybe because his dog had his hair cut. So, I remember, I might have remembered the dog, but the dog had really short hair. But you could tell the dog was old. And I said, oh, she's dead, I said, "Oh yeah, she passed away, And he was like, "Oh my God, it's terrible." And I said, "How old is your dog?" And he said, 18 years old. And the dog had this kind of wolfish look, like he walked okay. 18 is really old, but he walked okay. And he would, it was funny. He would smell me. Like I put out my hand and he'd smell me. And he'd go, like I smelled terrible. But I mean, how bad could I smell? And this is a dog, That's the other thing about dogs I don't really get. Their nose are so sensitive. But if your nose was really sensitive, wouldn't you be disgusted by everything? I mean, I had this ex-girlfriend whose nose was really sensitive, and she would smell anything in the air, and she'd be like, "Oh, she'd be extremely happy or extremely disgusted." So wouldn't you think that wouldn't you think the dogs should be disgusted all the time? Because everything, unless they just like this, maybe dogs don't think of things as good and bad smell. Maybe they think of things as just different smells, but they can tell, What is the point of things smelling bad, by the way? I guess it's to protect us from eating rotten food. But anyway. Anyway, what am I talking about? Yeah, so Maggie died. So I was thinking about this year and what's good and what's bad. And, yeah, well, I think, I broke the same lens twice this year. I just broke it just now, so. No, that was last year, 2014. So, I break a lens every year. Actually, this year I lost 2 lessons. One fell off a mountain. Was that this year? No, that was last year. That was 2013. So it seems like every year I've lost or damaged a lens. Damn. So there's that. But I was thinking, yeah, what's good? So Yoko's pregnant. She's 45 days away from giving birth. So that's cool. YouTube is, as good as ever. I feel like the community feeling is coming back a little bit. I don't know if we ever lost that, but, let's see. Work is going well, but I was thinking, what are the highlights of the year? And I guess one of the highlights was, yeah, of course, Yoko getting pregnant. And of course, the low point was Maggie dying. But besides that, I don't really think there was anything super eventful. My uncle died 2 days ago. Yeah, and he wasn't a very in my mind, he wasn't a very accomplished fellow. My father, I think, is a really accomplished guy. I mean, he's someone I look up to and respect, but my uncle was more of he kind of treated me like a Japanese person treats a foreigner. He would always ask, because they lived in Peru. Most of my family lives in Peru. Actually, I guess nowadays, well, yeah, still most of my family lives in Peru, but I have family all over the world now. I have in Canada, Switzerland, Germany, New York, and Japan, of course. So all over the world, I've got family. But he would always ask me questions about America, like, so in America this and in America that, just like a Japanese old man would ask me. And there's this old man who visits me all the time. No, I'm sorry, not visits me. He visits the liquor store where I go to, like, every single day. And I don't go there every day. I go, like, once a week or twice a week. And every time I go there, he asks me about America. Every single time. And I know he's just trying to make polite, small talk, but it gets really boring, Like, in America, most people are Christian, right? That's right? Isn't that right? Like, and this guy is like, he's the weird, like, even Japanese people think he's weird. So he works in a manju shop, like making manju. But he's got a perpetually runny nose that's really gross, and he's always, like, dripping. Like, he won't even know, and he's like, just thinking about it makes me kind of but he'll be like dripping snot. Almost every time. And the kids, the grandchildren at the liquor store always make fun of him. Like, oh, he's dripping snot again. Anyway, and I try to be nice, but everyone else avoids him. As soon as he comes in the store, everyone like pretends they're looking at something, or actually runs away and goes into the back. They go to the back of the shop, so we can't bother them. But yeah, I feel like my uncle was a little bit like that, kind of obsessed with the fact that I was American, right? Oh, speaking of which, so probably some of you know, I was actually born in Peru. And I don't call myself Peruvian. I don't think of myself as Peruvian. In my mind, I'm an American, but I sometimes get the odd comment about, very rarely, but you're a self-hating Hispanic, or you should have more pride in Peru. But I've never been one of those people who were proud because they were born into something. I don't think that's anything to be proud of. It's just luck. And at the same reason, I feel the same way about being American. I mean, I'm really grateful that my parents moved there when I was a kid, because it's afforded me many opportunities, but I think it's kind of silly to say, oh, I'm proud to be American. And I never felt that. I mean, I've chanted America #1, but only to annoy people. Like, I've never felt, we're #1, USA, USA. I've never felt that way. And I saw today they had this eating contest on TV, and the Americans versus the Japanese, and it was in Times Square. So they had this contest in Times Square, and I don't know if you've ever seen that Japanese are really good at eating, like tiny little Japanese. One of the girls weighed 39 kilograms, and she ate. I didn't watch the whole thing, but she ate like 4 kilograms of steak or something. And in a later contest. What was that, the guy? Anyway, a later contest. Yeah, the girls. Yeah, it was all girls. There were no guy Japanese eaters. But the world champion's a Japanese guy, by the way. Yeah. I forgot his name. Excuse me, I just came in from mouth cold. I hate sniffling, but I can't interrupt the video. So, yeah, they had this girl. She must have weighed, I don't know, she was tiny. And she ate like 4.5 or 5 kilograms of fried chicken. Isn't that amazing? 5 kilograms of fried chicken. Damn. Why would you? And I'm thinking to myself, that's like, how many chickens is that? I mean, that must be like 15 chickens or something, because you don't eat all the parts. I mean, she's just eating legs or something. And it's really too hot. You got to get one of these thermoses. Oh my god. I keep forgetting, because you expect it to cool off naturally, right? But it stays really hot. So anyway, so yeah, about being Peruvian, I've never felt that, that I'm Peruvian kind of feeling. However, my parents have told me, and I've seen, quite a bit about this in the way, about how Peru is kind of, look, in Peru, let me just move this. My dad would say, be careful, because in Peru, they will steal your socks without taking off your shoes. They're so good at pickpocketing and stuff like that. Speaking of which, my sister got pickpocketed in Spain, which is surprising because she's pretty adept at taking care of herself, but they got her. So anyway, so the thing about Peru is like they do things that are kind of embarrassing, like really, dude, you really gonna do that? I'll give an example. There was apparently a plane accident years ago. I don't know. It was on Japanese TV. I didn't get the exact date, but this plane went down in the Amazon jungle, and the Peruvians stole like the wreckage, okay, including the black box, and they opened it up and reset it. Luckily, there were 2 black boxes. I didn't know that the planes had 2 black boxes, but there were 2. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, like only a Peruvian would do this, because I know Peruvians, There used to be like a garage in Peru where you could go and buy anything you want, right? You drive up and you say, I need hubcaps, I need tires, And the old joke was they would greet you as, you know, you drive up and you'd like talk from your car window, say, "Wait, what do you need?" Right? Oh, the left-hand side. They say, "What do you need?" And you would say, like, "I need 2 hubcaps like this, like below," right? And you'd indicate to your hubcaps. And the guys would go around to the other side of your car, steal those hubcaps, and come back and sell them to you. I mean, I mean, of course, I don't really think that ever happened. But that's the rep that Peruvians have. And they were, like, proud of this. So the wreckage, right? So I was, you know, seeing that news, and I was thinking, oh, only Peruvians, you know. And I know it's not true, because, I mean, there are wonderful, lots of intelligent people in Peru, too. But in general, we have this kind of reputation. And then another true story, just a few days ago, a Peruvian firefighter, his son was bitten by a dog, and apparently the firefighter got pissed off and tied the dog to his car and drove it around town as punishment. And the dog's forelegs were all broken. Its skin off its paws were ripped up. It was just really just fucked up. This dog was really. And I was thinking, looking at the story, reading the story, and they even had a little video on it. I think it was on Live Leak or something. And I was pretty disgusted, you know. And I was thinking to myself, again, only Peruvians. But at the same time, the Peruvians, they found out about this, you know, his neighbors and shit. And they, like, surrounded his house and they, like, threatening to kill him and stuff. I mean, I don't remember all the details, but other Peruvians were equally pissed off. So, you know, apparently not everyone thinks that kind of shit is okay. But, and I know this happens in other countries, and we have really screwed up things happening everywhere in the world. But, I mean, in Japan all the time, like, babies starve to death because the parents didn't feed them enough, or lock them in the car while they're gambling and shit. That shit happens all over the world. So it's not just Peru, it's not just America. But personally, that's when I, because I'm born in Peru, I guess it annoys me a little bit, like that my people do that kind of shit. But I've never, like I said, I don't really identify or find any pride of identifying with any group. So it's kind of ironic, right? It sounds a little almost hypocritical. There was a murder quite a few years ago. I think 3 or 4 years ago. A Peruvian man killed a little girl. I think it was in Hiroshima or somewhere. And one of my students, it was late. He was a Spanish student, actually. His English is excellent, so he's taking Spanish. He walked in, and we were talking about this, just talking about the news. And he said, he came up to me. He says, "So, you hear about that Peruvian guy?" And I said, "Yeah, that's terrible." He goes, "Do you feel guilty?" I'm like, "No, I don't feel guilty. Why would I feel guilty? I mean, it has nothing to do with me. I don't hang out. He's not my family or anything. I didn't know the guy." Oh, and then I did the Ado video the other day, just 2 days ago. And in the comment section, someone said, "Americans suck because we put Japanese in concentration camps, so we should shut the fuck up, blah, blah." But, you know, that happened like 70 years ago. And who did that? I mean, I don't know how you can hold a country accountable for something that people did 70 years ago. Most of those people are dead, number one. And although countries do have certain personalities, I'm pretty sure like a specific act, like putting people in a concentration camp, it's not bred into the genes or into the culture. It's not part of any culture, you know. Nobody's brought up that way. It just happens to be a decision that a country made, a government made at the time. So it seems ridiculous to me to hold a country accountable or blame them for some, you know, for the atomic bomb or for Japan invading other, you know, or for Nanking. You know what? I mean, come on. None of those people who are in government now had anything to do with that, and most of Japan now they weren't alive then. And in America, it's even worse because we weren't even, like my family, as I was blamed for the Hiroshima bomb because I'm American, right? So some Japanese troll was giving me shit. He actually emailed the school and called the school trying to get me fired. He's like, "I can't believe Americans would," he misunderstood. He thought I was making fun of Japanese, but he said, "You know, I can't believe you would make fun of us and you've got no right. You know, you bombed Hiroshima, you killed millions of innocent people." And I'm like, "No, I did not. I didn't say anything, of course. I just ignored that kind of stuff. But I mean, it was just funny for me to hear that kind of accusation. Like, really? I'm supposed to feel guilty about that? Yeah, I feel bad people die, but I don't feel like I'm not to blame at all. My family hadn't even immigrated to America yet. Anyway, yeah, so I was thinking about what identifies how I identify myself. And definitely I'm not that kind of group person. But I do like to do things with people in groups, of course. I'm a very social person. And I was part of a group that bought a couple bars a few years ago. And I was very happy to be part of that group and working together. I like that, But that group is not based on a nationality or religion or anything like that. So, so this video is not really going anywhere. I'm just contemplating, what happened this year. Who am I? What I identify with, what I don't identify with. And I get, but the thing is, I get emails from people all the time. About, I'm Hispanic, or I'm Turkish, or I'm Arabic, and what do you think Japanese people think of us? And I think you worry about it too much. Stop thinking about yourself as a group. You just be whoever you are. Be your own person, and you'll be fine. The Japanese will treat you fine. That's my opinion about all that. But ironically, Japanese tend to group in general. Of course, when I speak in generalities, I don't mean everybody, but in general, a lot of the comments you get are accusing us are basically grouping us together and labeling us with one big general, a label. You're American, so you're not Japanese, so you don't understand. Anyway, another thing I wanted to make this video for, I got really sidetracked, was I recently got, ironically, in the same week, I got 2 letters of apology. Now, I guess I'll go into detail on those later, at a later point, but it was, one of them was just a long letter about, when Maggie died, someone wrote all this shit about how it's no big deal that Maggie died because there's more important things in the world, so you shouldn't feel bad. Like, you shouldn't be wasting your time, basically. Which was just, a fucked up thing to say. And I didn't really think too much. I didn't give them they didn't really hurt my feelings. It was just stupid, so I ignored it. But the guy who wrote that comment emailed, he wrote me, what was it? He made a video for me and sent it privately. That's what it was, yeah. And then there was another guy. Or maybe it was the same guy. Actually, I don't know. But there was another guy no, it was a different guy. Another guy who wrote some nasty comments to me years ago. And he said it's been bugging him. And he just wrote a long email apologizing for it. And I thought that was really interesting. And kind of restored my faith in humanity a little bit. Because being on the internet every day, man, it makes you lose faith in humanity, right? And then so I wanted to say to those guys, if you apologize to me, it's done. We're done. We're fine. I mean, I forgive you easily. I don't, if you apologize, I've got no problem. In fact, I admire you for apologizing. And I thank you. So I also got an email from a woman who's in a hospital. And she can't leave the hospital. She's bedridden. She's getting back surgeries and stuff. And she wrote me a lovely email thanking me because I helped her kind of get out in the world. And I've gotten a few videos like this. And I always feel like, wow, even if it's just that person watching, I feel like I've accomplished something. So to those people who watch me because they can't get out of the house for whatever reason, like I got a letter from someone who's a shut-in. I got a letter from someone who's getting back surgery. I got another letter from someone who's just handicapped. Like he's bedridden and can't go anywhere. But they really enjoy my videos, so it makes me feel like, yeah, great, that's cool. I mean, I feel like I've done something really good in the world when I get emails like that. So thanks again for those videos, for those emails, Anyway, so just wanted to say, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas is done. Happy New Year, everyone. I had a great 2014 despite some of the bad things that happened. But I hope to have a great 2015 and I hope you'll be there. And I want to thank you all for watching my videos. And I'll have some more videos. I just put out a video on Give Me Flake Man. This is again going on Give Me Flake Man as a laundry video. And yeah, and I appreciate the feedback on the John Jansen video. A lot of you told me what you wanted to see, so feel free to tell me what you want to see, and I'll do my best. And I'm way behind answering emails right now, but I will get to it. So anyway, once again, Happy New Year, everyone. Cheers, and I will see much more of you. That's all. We're done in 2015. Thanks for watching, guys. Good night. Where's the off button for this?
Give me a break, man. Give him a break because he sure deserves